Hi, today I wanted to share my 5 more pet peeves as I felt that the initial list was lacking in some important examples and I didn't want the video to be too long. So if you wanna check that out first, there's a link in the description and also there should be a bookmark in the video itself. But if you just wanna watch this one, well, let's start. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is people telling me to draw every day. It's something that a lot of artists like to throw in together with the just practice advice that I talked about in the previous video. And I really don't like these cookie cutter ideas or guidelines that some people like to tell without considering that different people simply have different needs, different possibilities, or learning patterns. I can't imagine someone working 12 hours Monday to Friday to be able to do that, or if you have a disability, you might not be able to do it either. And for people that are just starting out and have the time and means to draw every day, it might not be a great idea either if they don't know what they're doing. And you might say, yeah, but if you draw every day, it shows that you care. And if you cared, you'd find time no matter what. No, you can be consistent and really care about making art without making yourself do it every single day. Let me give you an example. Some people will try to draw every day despite whatever is happening in their lives, and then for one reason or another they will miss a day or a couple days, and with each passing day they will feel worse about not drawing, and eventually they will think, you know what, I already failed, there's no point. Or they will make themselves draw every day and they will hate what they created and think that drawing is not for them. You should also take into account possible burnout, which, if you're drawing every single day, is definitely not uncommon. And you also need to remember that drawing itself isn't all that there is to being an artist. You should also allocate time for finding inspirations, which can be anything really, from watching a movie to simply going on a walk in a park. Anything can spark an idea in your head. Second pet peeve of mine comes from both artists and non-artists. It's when people tell you that a specific style of art is the only true art, or that it's at least better from others. Usually that's realism and historically the Western art styles, but I've seen people say that about other styles as well. For example, I used to draw mainly realism, and I've had people degrade my art because they thought it's pointless because cameras exist, photos exist. And comments like that, even if they're not specifically told to you, are hurtful. Even if you just read a comment like that or overhear someone talking, you might start questioning what you're doing. And they did make me question my art. They were partly a reason why I eventually started drawing realistically less and less. Not fully, because I think I would have stopped regardless, but it at least took away a portion of my enjoyment of what I was doing at the time. I also hear this argument towards abstract art a lot. People will say things like, we went from Rembrandt to this, or this artist worked on their art for 100 hours and this person did this in 5 minutes. Therefore, this isn't real art. And yeah, it sucks when the person who worked really hard doesn't get the recognition, but that doesn't mean the other person doesn't deserve it either. Different types of art have the right to coexist independently. Some people also have this weird belief that digital art isn't real art, which really, still, just because some things might be easier, like repositioning something if you make a mistake, doesn't mean that the software does everything for you. And seriously, why is convenience a bad thing? We're already working hard, so let us at least have a crumb of convenience like that. So, to summarize, I believe that every art, no matter what style it was drawn or painted in, has value, and you should not make anyone feel bad for what they create or what they like to look at. And just because you don't like some specific art style doesn't give you the right to belittle it. Taste is a very subjective thing, and we're not all gonna like the same thing. The same as with food or music, and that's okay. Now I wanted to refer a little to my previous point, specifically the meaning of art. I often see people ask artists, "What does your drawing mean?" Or it doesn't even have to be an artist. I'm sure you heard someone be asked, "What does your tattoo mean?" Or maybe you asked that question yourself. Well, let me tell you a secret. The meaning of art can be purely aesthetic. The vast majority of things that I draw are created because I thought it would look cool or pretty. Art doesn't have to make sense or have some deep meaning to be of value. And chances are, if there is a meaning to someone's piece, they will mention it in the description. If it's not mentioned, I find it rude to ask. It might be very personal and they might not feel comfortable to share it. I once heard a really clever response to that question. Just ask them back, "Well, what do you think?" You might hear some interesting answers. Next thing is telling people you should draw more blank. It really annoys me because it's my art and I draw what I want. This honestly could be my whole point, but I will elaborate a little. See, artists are usually very connected with what they create and they make what they're passionate about. Things that inspire them. So if you go and tell them that they should draw something that they aren't interested in, it creates a disconnect because it's most likely not something they want to be working on. And that means fun taken out of creating, which probably would lead to dissatisfaction with the finished product. And also it's just rude. If you want to see drawings of something specific, look for an artist that draws it already, or even better, draw it yourself. No one owes you anything, and even if you think that drawing something different would elevate their art, it's not your place to decide that. And last but not least, it's when people give you unwanted criticism. It's annoying when anyone does it, whether it's another artist or a non-artist. When other artists do it, it's usually in a superior kind of way that your art is worse than theirs and it bothers them so much that they just have to tell you what's wrong with it. And when a non-artist critiques your art, it's just an uneducated opinion. Yes, critique is an important part of growth, but inserting your opinion when not asked isn't a great thing to do. If someone wants criticism, they will ask for it. And even then, it's good to be tactful and professional about it. Maybe throwing in something that you like about the piece. Alright, that will be it for this video. Let me know in the comments what your biggest pet peeves are. But for now, I will see you in the next one. Bye!